Algebra 1, welcome back, guys. We are in section 4 today. Like I said, it's all about graphing, all right? This whole chapter has connections with graphing, whether you are actually graphing or you're writing equations that you need to know how to graph, or maybe you have an equation and all you need to do is tell me about the graph, but you don't actually have to do it. All this stuff. I know students are really big fans of graphing, so just stick with me, okay? You guys can do this. Stay focused, stay strong, keep working hard. All right, here we go. So section 4, all graphing. All right, look at the page right here. You've learned this. I taught it to you in the last section. I'm just going to show you multiple example problems. So right here, please follow. If you're not following, guys, you're not going to remember every little step. This is very helpful. The more exposure you get, the better you will understand. Oh, look at that. Better understand. I'm even using the same phrasing. All right, here we go. So, little review. Linear equations make a straight line. Something you should know. If your graph doesn't make a straight line, something's off, because all of these equations make straight lines. All right, let's do it. Let's jump right into some example problems. So here we go. First one that we're dealing with, we have a 2x minus 8y equals 24. You remember in the last video that when you're looking at coefficients in front of those variables there, you probably don't want to move the variables. Let's just jump into the intercept method and solve for the x-intercept and solve for the y-intercept, okay? So remember how we do that? The first step, let's make x 0, which means that this is going to cross out and simply leave us with a negative 8y equals 24. And how do we solve that? We would divide both sides by negative 8. That would cross out. And that would leave us with y equals a negative 3. So that right there is our y-intercept, okay? So if I want to plot that right now, all I need to do is go to the y-axis. Remember, here's y, here's x. All right, and we just go down 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. There's a dot. Now let's move on. And let's go back to the original equation, but let's make y equal to 0 and solve for x. So now 2x minus 8 multiplied by 0 equals 24. This will cross out because it's multiplied by 0, leaving us with just 2x equals 24. And divide by 2. And x equals 12. Now, that's a pretty big value there. So I will admit I didn't really have the proper spacing to have x equals 12. So just for the sake of it, if you guys are tracking with me, we're going to just imagine that this furthest point over here were to be 12, but actually we know we would space it way further. And then we would just do x, which is to the right, positive value 12 times. Again, we're imagining that that value right there is actually 12 all the way to the right. And then all you have to do is connect those dots. So let's connect the dots. And there we go. There's your graph, all right, using the intercept method because it was set up a lot easier to use intercept method. Okay, that's example 1. Let's move on. Let's take a look at example 2. Now, what you could do here for example 2 is we could move that y, because notice there really isn't that coefficient in front of y. So I'm going to show you here, if we were to take the negative y and move it over here, and then move the 5 in its place, let's rearrange this, then we would now have 3x minus 5, because the 5 is positive. I moved it across an equal sign, equals. Now notice the y is a negative, but I move it over. So on this side, it now becomes a positive. This format is now known as the slope intercept format. Remember that from the last video, okay? So here is our slope right here. And then here is our y-intercept right here. You always first start with the y-intercept, then move on to the slope. Okay, so let me show you. Once you have it with y by itself, y is a positive, everything else is on the other side, start with that y-intercept. So it says -5, got to go down 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5 right here. Now from that dot, meaning now I'm at -5, from that dot, we now have this slope right here. So really, the slope is 3/1 because you have a rise and you have to represent a run also. Rise over run. I'm sure you guys remember hearing that from pre-algebra. Okay, so we have a +3, so we rise up 3, and then we have a run of 1, and that means run to the right. So here we go. From this dot down at -5, we go 1, 2, 3, then 1. Now we are right there. Okay, 2 dots. That's all you need. Connect those dots. That's going to make a line. We go here. Again, my apologies for any lines that get a little bit squiggly. There we go. That's our line. Perfect. Ready to move on to example 3. Just wanted to make sure you got that though. Example 2 was all about slope-intercept. Example 1 was all about just the intercept method. So let's move on. Look at example 3. It's already set up as y equals. So right off the bat, we know that all we're dealing with here is the slope-intercept format. And let's remember, here is the slope. Here is the y-intercept. Okay? Always start with the y and then second move on to the slope. Okay? The y-intercept, it says -2, so we go down 2 times. 1, 2, right there. Now, our slope, by the way, right here, this guy, it's already set up as a fraction. Rise over run. So we have rise over run, 1/2. So a rise of 1 and a run of 2. So from that y-intercept down here, we rise 1 and we run 2. So now we are right there. Perfect. Simple enough. Notice there's no movement. We didn't have to do any calculations. We can just flow right into the graph. Okay, so let's connect these dots. And that's it. Okay, please pay close attention. I understand that my graphs, to me, are very minimalistic, right? Like you'll notice I just have the y-axis, right? There's the y, there's the x-axis. I make sure to put my marks so that I'm representing this is a 1, 2, 3. Each mark counts as 1, okay? If you have graph paper, it might even be easier, all right? It might be a little bit more detailed. That could be very helpful. All right, that being said, let's keep moving. Let's look down. Oh, that's it. That was the last example problem. That's all we needed to cover. So guys, there you go. That's section 4. We'll see you in the next video.